Welcome to Pod Dogs. Today is Tuesday, March 26th, 2024. And on today's agenda, Matt, what are we talking about?
Today we got some big life updates. Our biggest one is our co-host here, Ryan Dorman, is officially engaged. Give it up for my man, Ryan.
Hi.
Claps in the chat. Woo, woo, woo. Ryan, congratulations.
Thank you. It happened. I am off the market.
You are off the market. I have some questions, though. How did this proposal go? Because I'm curious. Give me the answer, no spoiler, at the end. But I want you to disclose everything that you feel comfortable on how your proposal went, when it happened, who was there, who was excited, who knew, give me whatever. I'm going to try to squeeze this one.
Matt, when was the last time you were here in Dana Point?
January of this year. And I think I came with Imran. And we went on a long walk at night in sandals. And we walked a couple miles. And we kind of talked about the future of your relationship at that point.
Oh, deep.
It was deep.
That was probably one of the first times I vocally said out loud that it's happening. I will marry her. And so from there on, the thought of what am I going to do? How am I going to propose was going on in my head a lot more often. About 2 months ago, I finally had the idea of how I was going to execute this. And we love our dog. Our dog Finn is a very lovable guy, and he loves to play fetch. However, whenever I throw the ball, he always returns it to Tiff. So I knew Finn needed to be involved, and it seemed a really good way to do this would be to write a message on the ball such that he could deliver it to Tiff, and while she reads it, then I can go on my knee. And I had the ball ready maybe 2 weeks ago. And then her sister came into town about a week and a half ago. And when she came into town, I still didn't know when I wanted to do this. I always thought I'd do this just her and I, because we've talked about the proposal before. And Tiffany's been adamant that she doesn't want a big thing. She doesn't want a huge fiasco, a lot of people, and to be the center of attention. She doesn't like that.
So now we're just putting it on a podcast.
Yeah, so now we're just blasting it on a podcast. So her sister is in town, and hey, actually seems like a good idea to do it now while you're here with us. The two, the sisters being together, they've both been having a great time the past week and a half. And so I was like, all right, Britt, that's the sister's name. Britt, we got to go to the park. We're going to do it. I'm doing the proposal while you're here. She's down. Thursday, I wanted to do it, but Tiff decided we had to eat dinner instead. Ran out of sunlight. Didn't happen. And then the weekend happened. We had things to do, but yada, yada, yada. Come Monday, get off of work, head home, skip the gym. This is more important. Get home. We grab our dinner. We get in the car. Tiff's driving. And Tiff says, you know what? Maybe instead we should go to this other spot that has a really great view. And Britt just immediately says, no, we cannot. We got to go to the park. I'm like, yeah, Finn has to run. He needs to run. He didn't run enough today. Although Tiff said, well, what are you talking about? He did fine. We went for a walk. He's fine. Like, no, he needs to run. It's like, okay. She gives up. We're going to the park, I guess. We go to the park. Get to the park. Show up. Find a bench. And once we're finally ready, I throw the ball. Finn runs after the ball. And he comes back to Tiff. And here's the moment of truth. She reaches down. She grabs that ball. And she just fucking chucks it. Just tossed it. And I look over at Britt, and Britt's looking at me just like, well, we knew that might happen. And so I'm like, okay, maybe she'll see it the second time around. And Finn comes back, brings the ball back to her. She picks it up. And once again, she's just getting ready to throw it. So Britt just blurts out, hey, Tiff, is that a new ball? And so she finally looks down at the ball. And on the ball, it reads, I love my mommy and daddy. I think it's time we're officially a family. What do you say? And while she's reading that, I get down behind her on one knee. And she turns around. And that's when I asked.
Yeah, and then she said no.
And then she said no, so I just asked her sister instead.
So then I asked Britt if she was interested in.
No, of course. She said yes. Yeah. No, she was surprised. She thought it was a joke. She thought I was just kidding with her. She even said, like, is this like, yeah, is this real? Like, yeah, this is real. Do you want to marry me?
You had the ring, right?
Yes. Okay, so for the ring, a lot of people put a lot of thought into the ring. It's common for people to talk about what engagement ring you want, and you talk with your significant other and you go ring shopping. In this scenario, I mean, we've been together for 7 years, so we've talked about
7 carats. That's what I'm hearing.
You're gonna be surprised. So, I've joked a lot about proposing to her. Like, you know what? I'm gonna do it with a ring pop. I'm gonna do it with, I don't know, an anklet bracelet, whatever. And based off her reactions over the years, I can tell, honestly, it didn't matter to her what ring I used. So in this scenario, I just needed anything. I went with something simple and cheap, but I took into mind what she liked. And I know she likes the ocean and she likes opals. So I found a ring that had a nice wave on it and a single opal right in the middle. And that's it. I proposed to her with. But I know she desires a different ring. She wants something else, and that's fine. You know, after I give her the ring, you know, I told her, like, this is just for this, and we'll go get you the ring that you really want. And we're already talking about her using gems and stones from her grandmother and some other rings that they have, and using that to create a ring for her.
Okay.
That's really cool. I actually, off the top of my head, I don't know what opal looks like.
It's almost like a pale bluish white fluorescent stone. It almost looks, I don't want to say murky, but like...
Oh, yeah. It's like the foil-y stuff on a trading card.
It's like, yeah. It has this like holographic, reflective type of property to it.
Nice, dude. So you are now a fiance. I have more questions. Who cried first?
I don't think any of us cried.
Good man.
I think she was so shocked. Like she was so shocked that she couldn't cry. Right? She's still in disbelief that this is real. My mom, I didn't get to see her face. I called her, told her. I know she's ecstatic. Tiffany's parents were very ecstatic when I asked them and told them about this a month ago. So as far as tears, maybe on Friday, because we're having a short engagement.
What do you mean?
But, well, if things go right and I didn't mess up the paperwork, we will be married by the end of the day on Friday.
Like, you mean you're talking about by law?
Yeah.
Married.
So,
yeah, cool. But you're not talking about like the ceremony. You're not having a ceremony on Friday.
And no, there's no ceremony, although our parents will both be there on both sides, unexpectedly. So, yeah, we came home yesterday after the proposal, and we talked about, okay, well, next thing is like actually doing the marriage license and stuff like that. So I looked into it, looked at the local courthouse we can go to, and saw that they had an opening for Friday.
Oh, lucky. Which courthouse?
This will be Laguna Hills, and you need a witness.
Oh, okay.
And Britt is still here. So honestly, why wait? You know, Britt will be our witness, and we scheduled it. We told the parents, and each side said, we'll be there. We want to be there. So this Friday, it's happening.
Nice. The courthouse doesn't offer ceremonies, right? Are you like, you're not doing like a ceremony in the courthouse? I know some people do that, like a mini one.
Yeah, from my understanding, it's just you go there, like, and they just ask you questions, and that's it. Like, yeah, I'm not expecting like a mini ceremony or anything. Really, I'm just.
Well, I could tell you what happened when I went.
Oh, Matt here is just in disbelief.
It's still processing. Like, you're going to be married by Friday.
And that's why Tiffany didn't cry. She's still processing it.
Like, I don't want to self-impose, but I want to go. You were there for mine.
You know,
at the courthouse?
I'll just, like, wait a mile away or something if you don't want me in, like, the vicinity. I don't know, like, I don't know how Tiff wants it, because I know Tiff is particular on how, like, she feels, like, comfortable and set up and everything like that. But, like, you're getting married on Friday, bro. Possibly.
Yeah, that's if I didn't mess up any of the paperwork, we should be married on Friday.
I'm sure you didn't mess up.
Your IQ is over 13. I'm sure you did the paperwork fine. I'm still in shock and I have more questions.
Oh.
Pick me.
Matt, please.
So I know your answer. The answer that I've heard is why not, but the question I have is why.
Why marry?
So soon. Like, why is this the... I know why other people do it, but I want to know why you and Tiffany, other than why not.
The reason to do it to us is one, and I think the biggest one is we're not looking to have a traditional ceremony anyways. So we're not expecting to do a walking down the aisle type of deal and do that type of whole shindig. So for us to wait, it didn't really make a lot of sense to us. So
right, you're just being efficient, optimizing. That's true engineer of...
Welcome to my life.
I mean, to me, this is obviously just my perspective. The court thing is like, if you're not having a mini ceremony there, if that courthouse specifically doesn't offer one, there's nothing emotional or like intimate about it, because when you're going, for example, my brother just got married, right? So I had to redo this. It's like, since you're not having the ceremony, you guys are there, you fill paperwork and you leave. There's no like lovey-dovey stuff. You sit with one clerk. They go, "Are you changing your name? Like, is this your right social? Blah blah blah. Okay, sign here, sign here. Who's your witness? Sign here." And then you go, "How many wedding certificates would you like?" "Okay, we'll mail it to you." And then you leave. You pay and you leave. But like if you have the ceremony there, like we had a mini ceremony there to make it official on the day. Because for example, for my brother, when he went there, they didn't do the little ceremony thing. They just did the paperwork. And so technically, you weren't legally married yet because you didn't have an officiant to sign off on your marriage, right? So that's when you go to this, that's when you have your ceremony, right? Whatever your ceremony is going to be, non-traditional, traditional, whatever. And that's when you have the officiant of your choosing based on your denomination that oversees the wedding and blesses your marriage. Then that individual signs the paperwork. And this is when you send that paperwork to the clerk. And that's and when the clerk gets that paperwork, then technically by law, you're legally married. I don't know if exactly that's how you set it up.
Yeah, now I have to look. Okay, are you ready? This is what it says for service type that I selected.
Sure.
It says, submit your application to obtain a marriage license and schedule an appointment for a civil wedding ceremony.
There you go. So you're going to have a ceremony.
Oh, look at that.
So the clerk, a lot of the clerks that handle this stuff, they themselves can either be your witness or officiant. So essentially the person you're talking to will most likely bring you to a small chapel, and this is where your parents will get to sit and watch and take pictures, and then they'll do like basically a mini version of like a real wedding where they do like, you know, they talk to each other, you hold your hands, by the power invested in me, blah blah blah. Like you'll have a small one of those in there.
Well,
so dress up. Don't dress like a slob.
Oh, Tiff already found a dress, and she's going to put it on and have a big coat to cover it, so I don't get to see it until we're
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like you will be like, this is how Chelsea and I did it too, because we had that mini ceremony. So that day you will actually be officially married, and then the ceremony that you have afterwards is just for fluff for like people like us who didn't get to go to the courthouse, more or less.
So for our fluff, it's just going to be a big party. You won't have us walking down the aisle. Yeah, we're just going to have a party.
You know what kind of party?
We are looking at, or at least we're talking about going to some type of venue with a beach view and making sure there's plenty of food and alcohol.
That's so you're basics. Just making everyone try to. Is this open invite? What is this? What do we got? Can you, if you can make it by Friday, you can. If you can't, like, what are you doing here? Like, it's so ambiguous.
If you want to come, I'm going to send you the deets because you sound really like you want to come. So I'll let you.
I'm trying. I'm going to do my absolute best. I have to move a couple of things, but I'm going to do my best to be there.
Oh, you're talking about his courthouse thing.
Yeah.
He's getting married. He's like, it'll officially happen. He's also having a ceremony, and he says he's going to celebrate. Are you going to do, I have more questions, post-wedding bachelor party? Are you going to do a post-wedding wedding party? How can we celebrate you and Tiffany?
So, yeah, by celebrating and saying I want to go to a venue and whatnot, that would be the post-wedding celebration party. We have in mind to have a big party, right? Both of our families, friends, to join in, have food, whatever, at some venue with an ocean view property. That would be the ideal. And that would happen probably in closer to about a year from now, I think, just based on.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were rushing to the party.
I thought I had to be ready by Friday, dude.
Well, you want to be ready by Friday if you want to go to the courthouse.
Right. Yeah. I thought the party was Friday too.
Oh hell no! You're telling me he's gonna invite all his family and friends in 2 days?
I thought that's what he was doing. It felt like that for a second. I thought he was shotgunning the whole thing.
Yeah, well, you live in a fantasy world, sir.
I guess I misinterpreted.
Yeah, you got time to put on a little muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For now, it's just getting the marriage out of the way and done with, and then party down the line. And just on the few places she called and looked into, it looks like it will be about a year until there's openings. So.
What about her last name?
Yeah. Oh. So by the end of the day on Friday, I will now be Ryan Nakawatase.
No, shut the hell up.
No, you're not,
dude. You are so progressive, it hurts.
Is she hyphening or what?
No, she's gonna take my name, so she will.
Yeah!
She will be at Dorman.
Hell yeah, Ryan. Didn't lose that prop bet.
She's completely dropping the Nakawatase.
She's dropping the Nakawatase.
Yeah!
Big news, big news.
I like the traditional, okay? As you can tell.
And so in the future, though, if we should have kids, possibility that the kid or kids would have Nakawatase as their middle name, though.
Oh, sure.
Or Naka.
Or Naka. That's actually not a bad idea. That's so much shorter and easier to write.
My brother's wife didn't change her name at all. She just kept her last name completely. Nothing changed. And I was like, huh? But hey, you do what you want to do. Not my wife.
Yeah, if she wanted to do that, I would have been fine with it. Completely fine. So be it. But no, she was willing to change the last name. And she even mentioned just the thought of it in reflecting on her name. I've had this for my whole life. And now I'm going to go by something different. It feels like a part of me is leaving. It's just, there's that disconnection now. Like you're letting go of something. I mean, I don't understand. I'm keeping my name.
We don't have to worry about it. My mom hyphenated.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, my mom's Richardson Tay. And then when we go to like restaurants and stuff, they don't see the hyphen. So we get a lot of people who think we're like Italian because they're like Richard Sante. And then they see a bunch of Asians and they go, huh?
Oh, man.
That's awesome. Tiffany Dorman.
Finn Dorman.
I guess it would be Finn Dorman. He's registered, I think, as Finn Nakawatase.
Not no more.
What? Your dogs get a last name? I didn't know that. I think on my vet papers, my dog's name just says Kobe.
Just one name.
It's just one name. It's just the dog's name.
You have a new child with your last name now. You have to go get his paperwork changed.
Yeah, we will have to.
Do you think she'll do it?
She'll do what?
Change Finn's last name?
Oh, I don't think it'll matter. If she's changing her name, I'm sure the dog is secondary.
Happy for you, Ryan.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Since we're on the topic of proposals here, there's 3 proposals between us. I want to hear the other 2.
Fucking Matt's face, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah.
Damn, Ryan. Bob, I can go first if you don't mind, unless you want.
Oh no, I have no obligations. Please feel free to go.
To be honest, my story is not excited. My proposal story was I was a little bit of background on my ex. I guess it's called an ex-marriage. I was married in the military and got married while I was in the military. I proposed while I was on leave, and I was back in my hometown, and I was at a place called Descanso Gardens. Her and I had went there, and I had told her about this place. It's a nice, garden area that has nice views and whatever, and it's very, scenic, and, the backdrop is perfect for what is a proposal. I did it there, and obviously she said yes. Long story short, that marriage didn't end well, but the proposal was decent. I give my proposal like a B-.
Did you guys have a ceremony or anything?
So I got married in the courthouse in Tucson while I was stationed out there. Ryan and Nate Dogg were going to school out there, so they were
Nate
able
was there?
to attend. Yeah, Nate was there.
Wow, very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
You're cool too, Ryan.
And I had a couple other military buddies that went too.
Okay, nice. So it wasn't just like 4 of you guys or whatever.
No. My dad was there.
Oh, awesome.
One of my military buddies. We weren't even that close. I would say like military acquaintance. I don't know why this.
You guys were friends in the moment, so it.
Not even, bro. To be honest, not gonna lie, I wasn't a huge fan of this person.
Okay.
But he just liked me and my other buddy and whatever. But he came in his blues outfit in the Air Force. It's like our formal uniform. And my buddy Drew and I still like kind of make jokes about it because during the wedding, the guy who came in his formal wear would look at me and Drew and be somewhat genuinely upset that people at the Tucson courthouse weren't thanking him for his service. It was just super cringy and just like weird and like, why did you come? I don't really know you. Like, why did you come in your outfit? And we just laugh about it now. But yeah, that is how that happened.
But you didn't have anything after the court thing. Like, cause like, you know, like you obviously have more friends than Ryan and Dorman and your two military boys. Like your mom wasn't there, right? I'm assuming Shauna wasn't there. So
No.
like, you didn't do anything? Like, I don't recall going to any of like a party for you.
No, I didn't throw anything like that. I was out of state, like, because like my network is in California.
Right.
I'm out of state. I think it was dinner, if I recall correctly. I don't even remember where. It was just kind of low key under the radar. The intent of the whole thing was just to expedite because of our military situation. So there was not a lot of planning involved or anything like that. I do remember coming back a couple months later to Newport Beach. It was around July 4th. And I think I told a few people in the moment when I was here.
Like, oh, by the way, I'm married.
Engaged. This was like during the engagement.
Oh,
like,
okay. Pre courthouse. Gotcha.
Quick side note story. Like, yeah, we were in Newport Beach and like we were dancing drunk at a club. And then we were drunk and went to the beach and we passed out and I got my wallet and my cell phone stolen over while we were sleeping on the beach.
You passed out and you got jacked?
Both of us, yeah, passed out on the beach, and like when we took maybe like a 45-minute drunken nap on the beach. And when we got up, all our shit was gone.
Oh, I mean, that's a story, I guess.
What about you, Bob? What is your proposal like? I remember when you told me. That is a vivid core memory of when you told me you were married, but I want to hear the proposal.
So, I mean, Chelsea and I at this point, pre-marriage, had been dating for 10 years. And I say technically because I want to say like the first, I don't know, 5 to 7 years was long distance, where I could probably only see her once a month, twice a month if I was lucky. You know, over that time, let's just say after the 7 years had passed, where we had moved in together, we spent so much time together already, going on trips and like, you know, individual trips, like let's go up to the mountains together, let's go like to I don't know, like wine tasting, whatever, right? Just like dates. And Chelsea would always tell me after we would come back from these trips, like, oh, I thought you were going to propose to me on this trip. Cause like it would be perfectly set up, right? Like it's just us. Maybe I brought the dog. It's quiet. It's private. We've been together for so long. And like we both already knew that we were going to get married, right? And for her, it was more like, when are you going to ask me kind of a thing, right? And for me, I was just kind of like, you know, when I feel like it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, because I don't know. But eventually, after a few trips, like I remember we went up to the mountains once. We went out to the desert another time. And she told me that like after those 2 trips, that she was just going to stop expecting to get proposed to. Because like, she's like, I thought this was going to happen now. Because like it was just set up so perfectly.
Bob, you reminded me a lot of what I felt like I experienced with, especially Chelsea saying, oh, I thought you were going to propose this time. I thought you were going to propose this time. Tiff has admitted to me there's 2 specific times she thought I was going to propose. One being a recent trip to Costa Rica.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to propose.
I texted, we all did. Vegas thought you were.
Yeah, there was a moment where we were in Costa Rica and I asked her for her rings. Like, hey, let me see your ring. And I was like playing with it and like, putting it on my fingers. And she said in that moment when she was watching me, she was thinking, oh, he's sizing me up right now.
Oh, that's what I'd think.
Yeah, he might ask me during this trip, which she was right. I was on the hunt for a ring in the moment. It was poor planning, obviously. I didn't have a ring with me. So I was trying to see, can I find a ring while I'm in Costa Rica that like I think she'll like and I can use and propose while I'm here?
You looked for something in Costa Rica?
A Costa Rica?
Nice.
But didn't really find anything. And it was a little difficult to find something when, you know, we're right next to each other. So it didn't happen. The second time she thought I was going to propose to her was now about a year ago. We went to Yosemite. And we had a friend, we still have a friend who is a photographer, and her photography friends wanted to do a shoot. I guess they had equipment that they wanted to test out and just try, and they ended up being in Yosemite at the same time. And so with a few weeks of notice that, oh, you're going to be there? Well, we're going to be there. Well, we want to take photos. Hey, what if like you guys just dress up for us and we'll take photos of you? And so Tiff put on like a really nice, like not a wedding dress, but it was a nice dress, and I was, you know, suited up, and we took photos, essentially wedding photos, for them to practice and use their equipment. And Tiff thought, he might pop the question. Where did he go? He left for a few minutes. Is he coming
You
back
guys,
today?
this man's setting me up.
But no, I had no intentions at that time. Although it would have been a good idea, but no.
I like to put myself in their minds, like when we were on this like snow trip, or when you're on your 70 or whatever, and these girls must be thinking like, yo, it's about to fucking happen any second now, dude, any second. She's just like, hoo, yeah, I'll do that, Ryan. Sure, Ryan, let's do it. Like, whatever you want. And then the day ends, and you're going, and she's sitting in bed like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why didn't you ask me yet?
Those are the times I want to see what a girls' group chat looks like. Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it?
And you know what? I think it's because of those moments, Bobby, that they thought we were going to do it. To me, it made it more worthwhile when we did do it, because it was blindside, unexpected.
Oh yeah, I wanted a blindside. Eventually we did go on a trip to Hawaii, and I did some research for where we were going to stay. I found a hotel, or I'm sorry, not a hotel, an Airbnb that had a view of the ocean, and it was next to a hotel that does a fireworks show every night. So like, my plan was like, hey, let's go out to the balcony when the fireworks show happens. And then like, I was just going to like sneak it, kind of a deal, right? Like during that time, like finally it would happen. And lo and behold, the one night when I was planning on doing it, they canceled the fireworks shows because of like, I don't know, COVID. It was COVID at the time, like lockdown season. So they were like, yeah, we're not doing fireworks shows for like the next year. I was like, great. Like they literally did one the day before. Like the day we got there, they did one. And I was like, oh, so like it's going to happen tomorrow. Like no big deal. But then the next day I'm like looking it up on their website. They're like, oh, we had to cancel all future fireworks shows for the next year. And I'm like, okay, great. So essentially what ended up happening was like, oh, I'm still going to have to do it, right? So we were just watching a movie, Shaun of the Dead, not the most romantic movie, but we were watching a movie, and, we had our little conversation, and at one point I went to go get the ring, and while she was watching the movie, I just like snuck up next to her, and then I proposed, and then she cried, and I was like, yeah, it's over. And
it must have felt like that for sure for you. I feel like.
Yeah, a little bit, but not in a bad way. But like, there's like there's that like pressure, relief. Right? Like you're just like, I just want to you want her to be happy and you want things to go well, which I think they did. And then a movie that she would never like on her own, like Shaun of the Dead, it's just not her style of movie, like a zombie comedy movie, is now, she has a cute story about it. It's one of her favorite movies for sentimental reasons, which is cute.
Nice.
Yeah, yep. But she was relieved after that. And then, yeah, I'm just happy, I got her the ring she wanted. She got the ceremony and a vacation. You guys are obviously at my ceremony that we went to, or that we had at my parents' place, which was really nice. And yeah, now we're here, and Chelsea's just the old ball and chain these days.
And Ryan's getting his fitted right now.
Yeah, that's right.
When it came to the ring, did you, go out and pick it together, and she told you like with detail what she wanted, or what? How did that work out?
Okay, so I'll be a little. I always knew what kind of, like you and Tiff said, you have an idea of what she wanted. Mm-hmm. You kind of idea of her style. And I don't know, maybe I knew what Chelsea liked, but I also kind of knew what I liked. And I went ahead and got a very traditional, I don't know what it, like cut. She liked a certain cut of ring. Every diamond has like special cuts and all this, like princess cut, round cut, square cut, all these different things, right? And ultimately I think I went with the cut I thought would look the best on her, and she even went ahead and said like, yeah, I actually like this a lot better than what I would have picked for myself. So it worked out. It was kind of a risk. I mean, I knew she was going to accept it almost like regardless. I could have got her, like you said, like a ring pop and it would have been fine. But I took a little bit of a risk with going with my own gut as opposed to like what I knew she wanted exactly. But I'm just glad it worked out.
And I think that's part of it, man. Like you were thoughtful about what you got her, and I think that's probably part of why she liked what you got her, man.
I have questions for both of you. Did you take the help or opinions of anything of Tiffany's friends into consideration when you were doing this proposal?
Not really, because her and I talked about it so openly about what she wanted and what she didn't want. It kind of made it really clear what I was going to do. You know, I already knew it wasn't going to be public. There wasn't going to be a lot of people. I wasn't going to invite a bunch of friends and family to watch and have her be the center of attention. So that told me, well, I have a few places to do it. You know, somewhere where she's comfortable, like the beach, the park, around where we live, and just keep it really intimate. Us, essentially. Maybe a photographer. I didn't reach out too much for ideas outside of once I started to hone in on I wanted to include Finn and I knew I wanted him to bring a message. I just kind of whiteboarded that idea with other people like, hey, maybe I write a message on a piece of paper and put it in his like Finn's jacket or something. And then it led to it being a ball essentially. So that's about how much I got off of other people.
Yeah, I didn't ask anybody. I didn't really want anybody's input, I guess. I kind of already knew what I wanted to do. I mean, there were times where I was thinking of like not asking them what she would like, because you know I kind of figure if I'm gonna ask somebody to marry me, I would hope I know what she likes to some degree. And but like, you know, I was thinking of like those, I don't want to say elaborate schemes where you like have her friends show up and people fly in and like, oh my god, it's a surprise, or you know, something like that. Obviously, I didn't end up doing any of that, but you know, I guess in a way I thought about doing it, but it just never manifested that way.
Question, Ryan. I have more questions.
Sure.
This is, I think I also know the answer, but I figured I'd ask. Did you feel any additional pressure, even if it's just slightly, when Bob got married?
Yes, I did. Of course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bob, you were my beacon. You were with Chelsea and you weren't married for so long. I was like, if he could do it, I could do it.
Yeah, there's no reason, nothing changes.
Because I believe there's a domino effect that's about to happen, you know, because I think you're the beacon for someone else, you know, we can play process of elimination, who it may be. But that's what made me wonder if that same thing happened to you because Bob got married before you. And you guys have similar situations. Obviously they're not parallel, but there is a lot of similarities.
Absolutely. And I would be lying if I said I didn't feel any amount of pressure. I think one of the biggest driving forces for me, though, is it got to a point where I'm looking at myself and looking in the mirror saying, I cannot wait long enough where she asked me.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
And I would
you
joke
wouldn't hear the end of it
and tell her, like, hey, I'm waiting for you to propose to me. Like, you know, equal opportunity, baby. I'm all about it. But in the reality, I did not want to do that to her. I did not want her to get to the day where she's like, hey, are you going to marry me? Or like, what the fuck?
Good insight. I don't know. I'm running along proposal questions.
So now speaking about feeling pressured to propose, right? I felt a little pressure after Bobby's wedding. I'm not gonna lie, Bobby, never gonna forgive you for that. So I got a text message from one of our friends and he said like, congrats, man, but you know, keep that off of social media. If my girl sees this, I'm fucked.
That's nice. So funny.
And I just responded like, well, yeah, man, this whole proposal was on purpose to force your hand.
All right, I have a question for you, Ryan. This is just from my personal experience with dealing in the when are you gonna ask me to get married limbo, right? That I've had kept Chelsea in for a long time. There's times when it's like you're watching TV, you're listening to the radio, and like Bruno Mars' "Marry Me" comes on, and I'm just sitting there. And I'm just like, yo, I don't want to listen to this song because I know she's like thinking about it. or like a Zales commercial comes on. It's like, do you really love the person? Like, show them and like get them a ring. And I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like, why are you putting this pressure on me? TV, radio, give me. Or like, I couldn't sing those songs in her presence because I almost felt like it was like a slap in the face. Like, I think I want to marry you. And like, bitch, then just do it. Like it would like when those like when Bruno Mars "Marry You" came on at any point, I would like physically cringe if she was in the room with me because I'd be like, yo, this is like awkward for me. Like
that is tough. But now you can listen to whatever you want.
Oh yeah, now I even told her that like after we got married, it's like, yo, I could listen to all this and like it's no big deal because I did it.
You don't feel that relief that you were talking about when you proposed is like, now I can listen to the music I want.
Or at least I don't have to take a second thought anymore, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, we're past that.
So the one of the few songs I know on a guitar is actually called Marry Me by Train, which I play it often because it's one of the few songs I know. And, now I can actually, play it without any guilt. So be it.
Yeah, guilt-free is the way to be.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, I wouldn't feel too much pressure directly from her a lot of times, thankfully. But when I did, I'd feel it when we're at a wedding. A recent coworker's wedding, when the whole table of my other coworkers was asked. She's like, when are you guys doing it? Like, oh, and she's looking at me like, come on, Ryan.
She used to do, yeah, Ryan, when are we doing it?
Yeah.
Bro, there was so much pressure on you that your mom would ask me.
Oh, yeah. Well, my mom doesn't really care for the marriage as much as she cares for the grandchildren. She would prefer the grandchildren actually over the marriage. So, and she doesn't care with who.
Facts.
Honestly, that's the weird part.
Facts, dude. Our parents are getting to that age now where it's like, they're going into grandparents mode, They're like, come on, I'm only on this earth for maybe 40%, 30% more of my life. So let's make it good, huh, son?
Yeah, Mama Dorman doesn't care if I have a child with Matt. She'd probably be stoked. One last story that I have about this whole proposal is the asking for a hand in marriage. So, Matt, did you follow the tradition of asking for the daughter's hand in marriage to the father?
I did not. So it happened. Oh, it is circumstantial, unfortunately. It had to be quick because of like the military, and also her dad was not in the country. He was on super secret business somewhere else and was unreachable for reasons. And so he could not be. But before we did get married, I did have a sit down face to face talk with him, but not before the engagement. Unreachable, literally unreachable. And this had a deadline to all be done that she agreed to.
So during that sit down, did you ask him, may I marry your daughter?
You know what?
Ask for permission.
I did not. And I probably went about it the wrong way. Like if I'm going to go back and think about it.
There's no right or wrong way, okay? It's your life.
There isn't. I understand. And I kind of remember what I was thinking about at the time. I was like, listen, I already asked, and I'm, she kind of already said yes, and me asking would just feel fake. But I did tell him, that all the things that I did like about her and how I wanted to. I didn't ask. I basically thought I was going to do it, and I would like your blessing. I didn't ask. I guess that's more of a way to put it.
Well, yeah. I mean, asking for your blessing is essentially the same thing. Because, like, your attitude is like, I'm going to ask her regardless, but I want you to bless that I'm going to do it. Like, I want you to approve of our relationship.
So, Bobby, what about you? Did you ask, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I did. Her parents are religious and fairly traditional, so I just did it the traditional way to appease them. Like personally, I wouldn't have done it if their personality, I guess, didn't really match, like her dad and her mom. But it seems like they really wanted me to, and being that they live in a different state, it helped them feel a little bit more, I guess, involved in the whole process too. So I just we had been dating for so long that even at like family dinners, they would say things like, oh, like, you have our blessing, just go ahead and ask. So like we can hurry up and expedite this thing, right? But before, I think it was like even like a month or so before, I had talked to only her dad. I think her dad was the only person who knew I was actually going to propose. Like my parents, my brothers, nobody knew. It was just me. And I guess her dad knew, but he didn't know when. But yeah, I did give him a call and basically ask. I guess you could say for permission, even though I kind of knew what the answer was, right?
Wow, you kept that close to the chest. I didn't know you kept it so close.
Yeah, it wasn't for any particular reason, but it's just kind of how it played out. It's not like I wanted to keep it a secret or anything.
So for Tiff, she's openly expressed that she thinks that whole tradition is just dumb. She thinks it's dumb.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I still wanted to respect her parents and her dad in acknowledging this tradition, though, because he's more, he's more old school, and this is something that he is aware of. So,
And he's the Asian one.
yes, but I wanted to balance this with also Tiff's thoughts of her not believing in asking the father for the daughter's hand in marriage. So the day that I did this, that I had this conversation, it was about a month ago. I show up to her parents' house with a gift in hand for her dad's birthday, and they invite me in. We go to the table, we start talking, and I'll be honest, man, the only thing I'm thinking about is how am I gonna bring this up. And I'm not really paying attention at all to what's being said. We're just talking about like trivial, like, oh, the weather, oh, it's nice, oh, fishing is cool, I guess. And in my head, I'm just thinking, like, okay, well, how are you gonna do that? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? You don't
Tiff's
ask if you
not
can marry your
there.
daughter. Yeah, Tiff is not there. It's just me.
Okay, perfect.
Just me and her parents. Hey, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna say here? How am I gonna do this? You cannot say, may I marry your daughter, because Tiff thinks that's dumb, and you want to respect what Tiff's thoughts are. And just in the middle of conversation, I just stop talking, and I say bluntly, I want to marry your daughter.
I thought I heard you just say blunt me.
No, just bluntly said it out loud. And I don't think I've seen Jerry move faster in my life. He popped out of his chair. He gave me a big hug. And I've hugged this man many times. This was the firmest hug I've ever had from him. He was ecstatic. Her mom was ecstatic. It was received well. And yeah, they said, of course. They said, of course. So I acknowledged it without having to truly ask. But I guess I still got the blessing.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the blessing without feeling that you're asking, because maybe I don't know what Tiffany's reasoning is, but it feels archaic because it feels like an exchange of property kind of thing, and it feels weird to me. So I don't want to ask like another, like I'm not making a transaction with this person for the affection of this other person, of their daughter. I'm just asking that you approve that I'm willing to do like the best of my ability to take care of your daughter, whether you like it or not. No offense. I wonder if that's a dying thing, or if that's a strong tradition that's being held.
Well, between us three here, 3 out of 3, we all had a conversation with the father. So far, it still survives.
Yeah.
True.
We did a whole proposal episode.
We can
Hell
just call this
yeah.
the proposal episode.
Yeah.
The proposal special.
Absolutely.
Pod dogs propose.
Let's close this out with some fun questions, though, like 1 or 2.
Yep.
Now that I've popped the question, can someone pop a question back at me?
Do you think a straw has 1 hole or 2?
1. One hole.
So it's just 1 long hole.
Yeah,
One
because I think of like, if I imagine a wall and I punch through the wall, you're going to call that a hole in the wall. And regardless of, how long the wall is or how thick it is, you're calling it a hole in the wall. And essentially the straw is just that section of the hole in the wall with the, I guess the cylindrical wall being there. That's all we're looking at. So I don't know. 1 hole to me.
Sounds like science to me.
Are humans just 1 big hole from mouth to anus?
I think we're a couple holes.
But we got 1 main hole.
There's some transitioning though, like there's some like valves, internal valves closing and opening. So I wouldn't say we're just 1 hole, right? You can't just like pour liquid in and it just falls out.
They don't call it glory holes.
Just glory hole, 1 hole.
It's a 1. With 2 sides.
If a hole, so long as the hole, if it has 2 openings that connect, it's still 1 hole.
So yeah, I see it fitting that it's just 1 hole.
Okay. I mean, I think I would agree with 1 hole.
I'm going to die on that hill. It's 1 hole.
What if an object, let's just say it was a ball, and it had 3 entry points that all connected at the center of the sphere, and so you could pour water through it, right? Is that one hole?
According to you, if it connects, yes.
It connects, and then it also has, well, it diverts too, though. This hole now has some diversions, whereas a straw has no other diversion, right? The periscope with the punched out mirrors has no other diversion, right? It's just one
It
continuous.
diverges at the corner.
But if I dig a hole and I dig at an angle, isn't that the same thing?
It is diverting, but we're still following a single track. Whereas Matt's
Right.
example of a ball,
Oh.
if you go in and then it diverts into 3 different tracks, we've lost that single continuous track.
So it has to be a continuous track.
One flow pattern.
There we go. One flow pattern, baby. One hole to rule them all.
Agreed. The butthole. And then my last question will be, this will be a personal question for yourselves. Is if I gave you a crystal ball and it would answer one truth about yourself. Anything in the world. It could be, how many times have I pooped? Anything like that. Or it could be deep. Like maybe you have a moment in your life that you didn't know the answer to because you just didn't know, and it could answer it for you. Did Samantha have a crush on me in 8th grade and she was my destiny girl? You know, that could be the question, I guess.
Oh, this is a thinker.
I'm going to take a second.
Damn, Bob. You have any examples? Have you thought on this question?
Have I thought about it? I mean, all my examples are like dumb questions or like dumb answers. Like, have I peed enough to fill up an Olympic-sized pool?
I'm trying to think, like, is there some type of information I could take from myself and monetize, which I think is a terrible toxic mindset. Yeah, like I shouldn't be thinking about monetizing everything. Ugh.
I was kind of thinking, I don't know if I'm just like a sentimental person and I'm thinking about love and this is the proposal episode, but I'd like to kind of know if I have met or like who or whatever is the most compatible person I can be with. Have I met them or like where are they? I don't know how.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
you
frame
could
the
ask
question.
that question. Is the person, let's just say, I'm just making up, is my soulmate someone that I've already met in my life?
Yeah, but I would want to know who it is. So would I waste the question on have I met or can I frame it in who is it?
Sure, you could say, is Ryan Dorman my soulmate? But that's one person.
That's one
I
in
mean-
one in a billion.
That's an obvious yes. You don't need to ask that one.
I'd go, objectively, am I a good person?
Ooh. What happens if you hear no?
Then I go, I guess I got some changing to do, I suppose.
Do you change or do you just accept? Do you just accept?
I might just accept. I mean, I don't want to be a bad person objectively. You know, I think of like Hitler. I don't want to be in the same category as that guy.
It's a pretty low bar to reach, though.
But do you think Hitler looked at himself and thought he was a bad person?
I think when he was in his room by himself, he was like, "Yeah, this is not good, but I'm so into it already. Might as well just fucking go with it."
Nailed it. Nailed that one.
You know, I really hope he did.
I'm just too deep. I just got to commit. Or you can ask a question like, "Do the people around me genuinely like me?"
That's a tough one.
I don't.
I think I know the answer for me, but I can't imagine certain people asking that question.
Yeah, I think if you're asking that question, you're in a dark place, man. Like that's not good. You need to either like work on yourself or work on who's around you, which is probably starting with yourself. But that's oof. It's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough question to ask.
How about you want to be superficial? You could say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hot am I? That's a question you could ask. And then you could have the crystal ball say like, "You're a hard 7." Like, oh damn! Like, you're a 3.
Okay. I think I know what I'd ask. Crystal ball. Why do I always want to eat so much food? It is what I think about all the time.
Perfect question. It'll spit it out. It'll spit out the physical reason and your mental reason, you know? Everything that's true to you. You'll know the exact reason why. Maybe you had past trauma and food is what you use to soothe, right? Who knows? And you'll be like, I didn't even know that a dog bit me and that's why I love to eat.
I mean, I do think I use food to soothe. When I'm stressed, I eat. When I'm happy, I eat.
Okay.
When I want to avoid things, I eat. Like I did this continuously through school. If once I got frustrated over a math problem or something, went to the kitchen, I got peanut butter and jelly, slapped that together, and just chomped down even when I wasn't hungry. I just ate. When I go to dinner, I want to eat everything. I want to finish off the whole entire plate. Why do I always want to eat everything?
There you go. That's a question you could ask.
You're active. That's also part of the reason.
Yeah, but I consciously have to keep in mind of how much I eat and need to slow it down. I eat more than enough.
Another question for your health, Matt, that you could ask it like, do I currently have any malignancies in my body that could really lead to cancer or a death?
I like
if you want to know.
Damn. What is my greatest health risk?
Yeah, you could ask that.
Who is the richest person I know that's willing to give me the most money?
Sure, yeah. That's a truth about yourself. It would probably answer that.
They won't tell you why they're going to give you money.
Yeah, they're not going to say, like, they're not going to tell you what you'd have to do to get them to give you the money, but...
That's a good point. I might have to do things I might not be willing to do.
If you made it this far, thank you for listening and consider hitting the subscribe button and giving this a like. Listener suggestions are encouraged, so please leave a comment and tell us what you think, or leave a comment and tell us how much you don't like us. I don't care. Do what you want. You can also find us on Instagram at PodDogsPack. And that's it. Give us money.
Yeah. Give me money. I don't want to work anymore. I want to do this.
Money.
I'm only doing this for money. I don't even like you guys. Okay, bye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe. That helps us help you with more content.